Welcome to the Personal Perseverance Project. My name is David Atkins, retired New York State Trooper, $1 Million Direct Sales International Business Earner, author, and keynote motivational speaker, where each week I come here to help you break through your excuses so you can live a life up to your fullest potential. Let the project begin.
That is my mindset. I operate on a level of excellence, and you guys need to wake up every single day, and you need to operate on a level of excellence and create your masterpiece.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to this episode of the Personal Perseverance Project. I can't believe that I started this year in January, and we're heading into 30-something episodes. I feel like it was just yesterday that I started sending out some weekly, every Monday, putting out motivational messages and principles that you can apply to your life. I've had some great interviews. I definitely want to strive to get more of those because the feedback, and I can see by the amount of people watching, really enjoyed that. So I'm definitely going to work on that as we continue on during the year. But this episode today, I think, is an important one. And I want to talk to you guys about work-life balance. Work-life balance. It is something that I feel people talk about all the time, where they're like, there's no balance in their life. They feel like they're working all the time. They have no downtime. They have no off time. They're burning the candles on both ends. It's a constant struggle. And work-life balance is definitely something that we all want to strive to achieve. And I think this is especially important for my parents out there, for my dads out there, for my moms out there, for my single parents out there. I think it's even more challenging to find work-life balance when really you have work and you're trying to find some time for yourself so you feel good, but then you have these little people, these kids that are running around that you're also responsible with, and just keeping up with your relationship. If you're in a relationship with somebody and doing all of these things and keeping a balance so that you feel good and nobody feels shortchanged and you're not burning the candle at both ends. So I think there's a handful of things I want to talk to you about. I have about 7 points that I wrote down. I have a bonus point, but I want to start off right out of the gate and share with you that there's going to be seasons. There's going to be seasons where you may be working more and have less downtime, and there may be seasons where you have more downtime for time with your family and kids and your spouse or significant other, or things to do for yourself, and then you have less work. So I think for me, what I have noticed my entire life, it's not a matter of every day having to be 50%. It's not a matter of, oh, my work-life balance has to be in order today. I need to have 50% work and I have to have 50% family, because I think you need to let yourselves off the hook right this second or after you listen to this episode that's next to impossible. That's like living the perfect life, that you work, your 8 hours a day, and then you have your family time, and, you have time to take care of yourself and exercise, and you're eating well, and you're getting your 8 hours of sleep, right? And that's just, it's not reality. But what I have learned is that when you set certain things and make priorities for your family, for things you need to do in your work, for things to take care of yourself, when you set priorities, yes, there may be seasons, but after time, after a few months, if you look back, I tend to see a balance that may be near 50%. So what I mean by that is, instead of getting all worked up or stressed out that maybe today wasn't a perfect work-life balance day, I think if you can understand that there'll be seasons and busy seasons in one thing and the other, that over time it tends to balance itself out. So the first thing I want to talk to you about, the first point to help you with work-life balance, and I'm going to share things that have worked for me that I want to give to you. So they've been tried and true. I know they worked for probably hundreds and thousands of other people, because I always have learned things that I apply from books that I read or people that I speak to or people that I look up to. And the first thing is that trying to work off a calendar is important. And what I mean by that, let me take you back to when I started building my network marketing business, when I started building my Beachbody business, 13, 14 years ago. and I was working full time at the state police. I had 2 kids going on 3. My kids at that time were basically 4. They were 6 years old, no, 5 years old. 12, 13 years ago, they were 5 years old, 2 years old, and then like my third daughter was coming at any moment. And there was a time that I'd work all day. I was on the phone all the time working my business, and it came to a point where Kristen, my wife, said to me, she's like you're not even here. You're always working. You're always on that phone all the time. And then when it is time to be with the family, you're really not paying attention because you're always going to your phone, you're checking your phone. And she had a point, because the struggle that I had is that I had a vision for a business that I thought can change our life, and did. So I had to find time to work that business because I also worked full time. But on the flip side, the most important thing that anyone can have, your family, your loved ones, the things that were right in front of me. Life was passing me by right in front of me because I wasn't taking a point to stop and be present and being with my family at the time. And I remember, and I talk about this it's a chapter I just finished in my new book that's going to be coming out, One Decision Away. And I talk about the conversation that changed my life. And it's the conversation, in short, I talk about when I sat down with Kristen and I said, how can we make this work? Like, I want to work this business, but I also want to be present with family time. So how can we make this work? And this kind of goes into my first point, and it's something I learned and applied right then and there. We started scheduling in our day and our hours. And what I mean by that is I scheduled in the things that are most important first, things that are the non-negotiables. So I would schedule in, all right, Monday through Friday, I'm working, and this is a hypothetical, but say you're working, 9 to 5, or you're working 10 to 6. I would write in our work hours. Kristen would also write in her work hours. Then I would have written in, all right, from 6 to 8:30 p.m. is dinner time, family time, bath time with the kids. It's a time for us to be together as a family. And then after that, from 8:30 to like 11:30 at night, I then worked my business, and I felt I was much more productive because Kristen and I, my significant other and I, or your significant other and I, we had an understanding that, all right, this is how it's going to work. Like, you're going to be totally focused on our family in these few hours so that my wife isn't upset or angry with me. But then there's understanding that for me to work this business, I may not be able to sit and watch TV and hang out with her because I'm going to work and build my business. The point of this is this. When you start writing in all of the things that have to happen, your work appointment, your work schedule, doctor's appointments, kids' activities, you literally write in dinner time with family, birthday parties you need to go to on the weekend, family barbecues that are going on. You write in and you put in a calendar that you communicate, and this is the key, guys, you communicate it with your significant other, your spouse, or whoever that is in your household. Then you're on the same page, and then after you have all of the things that are priorities, then you can start writing in the things that you want to do, whether it's building that side hustle, whether it's exercise, whether it's reading a good book, whether it's going for a walk. And I'm going to start and say this. You have the time. You have more time than you think, but we waste hours. They say the average person spends about a few hours, 3 to 4 hours a day just on their phones. So I want to say right out of the gate, like, this idea of working off of a schedule, you probably will realize how much time you waste doing stupid things. How much time you waste doing things that aren't serving you for the better to improve your life. So scheduling in the most important things, the things that have to get done, family, kids, events, family time, bath time, whatever that is. And then after that, also being on the same page and saying, all right, I'm going to do my workouts then. All right, I need to be ready to get the kids up and out the door, or have to help you at 7 a.m., 6:30 a.m., and then you can schedule your workout in before that or whatever it is, if that's a priority to you. Then you're all on the same page. You work as a team, and when you work off a calendar, you'll have more balance in your day-to-day life. Okay? So that's the first thing, is you need to sit down, you need to work off a calendar, you need to sit down and communicate it with your significant other and go from there. The second thing is this. You need to make a list of your priorities. Okay? For me, at the time and still today, I'll tell you right now, my priorities, obviously my number one priority is family, But me getting my exercise in every single day, it's not a matter of if I'm going to get it in, it's when. It has to get done. It's a non-negotiable because for me, that's something that not only physically, obviously, for my health, but it's something mentally I need. I cannot be the best husband, the best father, the best, speaker, writing a book if I am not in a good place mentally. And the number one underutilized treatment for stress, anxiety, depression, all these things is exercise. It's science. It's the feel-good chemicals that make you go. So for me, that has to come in. So you need to make a list of your priorities because if it's a priority, you'll find a way. Otherwise, you'll find an excuse. That's just the fact of the matter. So when it comes down to after doing that calendar, I then schedule in my workouts. And what I realized early on, and I still do this today, is the best time for me to get my workouts in was in the mornings. It was getting up at 5 in the morning. Is that easy? No, but it was a priority for me. And I had to do that, which is going to go into something I'm going to talk about in my next point, but I'll get there. So then when you have your priorities, maybe the next priority is, all right, I want to work my side business. I need to, or I'm writing my book, or, I need to do whatever the extra thing is. I want to be part of this local community group. I want to be part of this church group, whatever it is. You then need to write in and schedule in when you are going to do that. Okay, so when you have a list of priorities, then you need to find the gaps, find the holes in your schedule of when you can plug it in. And this is something that you continue to communicate with your significant other or spouse so you are on the same page. So you have that balance in your life. There's understanding because when you don't communicate things, guys, and you just beat to your own drum and you're in your own world, that's what creates frustration and friction with your significant other. But when you talk it out and you're asking to do things after you guys have already made sure that the kids are taken care of and dinner time and morning time, the crazy times as family, the chances of you succeeding are going to be a lot higher. So that's number 2, making a list of priorities. Number 3 is this. You're going to need to make sacrifices. That's just the reality of what it is. If you want to have work-life balance and you are in a season of where you're working big towards a business goal or you're doing an extra project at work, you're going to have to make sacrifices. You're not going to be able to watch 2 hours a night of television. You're not going to be able to watch your Netflix series every single night. You're not going to be able to watch your sports team. You may not be able to play in that softball league or go out with the guys multiple nights a week. Guys, I'll tell you this. When I was in build mode, and I'm kind of in build mode now as a speaker, I have to say that, or I'm in growing mode as I'm writing my book, I had to give up back then playing in softball leagues. I gave it up. I couldn't afford to go and play every night or a couple nights a week for a few hours playing softball and then hang out and drink some beers and hang out with the guys. Don't get me wrong. I have time for that. I still want to have a social life, which again, that could be scheduled in. Time with your friends, that could be scheduled in. But back then, it's all right, if I need to be with my family when I get home from work and now it's 8:30, if I really want to build this business to help change my life, I need to do it now during the times, and I had to give up television. I had to give up, and I also had to give up some sleep. I wasn't going to bed every night by 9:30, 10 o'clock, 10:30. I was staying up 11, 11:30, 12 o'clock. And early on in my business, I'll be honest, Kristen was asleep. My spouse was asleep. The kids were asleep. And I was in our office working for a couple hours a night to build this business. I had to make sacrifices of giving up sleep, giving up extracurricular social activities, giving up television, because I truly believe we only get 24 hours in a day, no more, no less. You have a time. It's about making it a priority. And when that desire to change your life for the better is stronger than the desire to stay the same, you will find a way to make it happen. And that may require making some sacrifices. Number 4 is this. Be sure you take at least 1 day a week to rest and recharge your batteries. For me, it's usually Saturdays and Sundays, but Saturdays I still do some work sometimes. But Sundays for me are normally my day off from exercise. It's a day that my family, we go to church together. And it's a day that, if my kids, my daughter has an ice hockey game, I go to that, or we hang as a family, or I just hang outside by the pool, or we go for a walk, or whatever it is, or we have a barbecue. The point is that's a day to unplug. For those of you that have followed me for a while, you may see a pattern that I'm not as active on social media on the weekends as I am during the week, because on the weekends, to be honest, I like to be off my phone more than on it. I don't like to be in work mode. And by doing that, I'm giving more balance, more focused time to my family. And in turn, I'm recharging my batteries so I'm ready to go on Monday to go out there and crush my goals and be the best that I can be. So you need to leave at least one day to rest and recharge. Number 5 is this. When it comes to work-life balance, whatever you are doing, I need you to give 100% to that, and remember to be where your feet are. I'm going to say that again. Be where your feet are. If you're at your kid's sports game, watch the sports game. Get off the phone. If you're at dinner, at the dinner table with your family, have conversation and put the phone in another room and stop checking your phone. If you're talking to your spouse, this is like a pet peeve of mine, and you're having a one-on-one conversation, put the phone away. Be present. Be where your feet are. That's so important. We're in a world today with our phones that literally life is passing us by right in front of us because we're buried into this stupid phone. Now, don't get me wrong. There's so many advantages to the technology and phone, and me being able to record this podcast to you and you are listening to it maybe in the car or wherever. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm so grateful for technology today, but you need to have boundaries. And when it comes to work-life balance, you may feel completely out of balance because you may always feel like you're working, because in this day and age with our phones, you can feel like you're always on because you never put it down. Okay? So whatever you're doing, and then when you're working, make sure you're focused on just your work and you're not scrolling social media and doing other stupid things. You got to be where your feet are. Life is passing us by. And I think it's super important to understand that so that you feel balanced, so that you feel efficient in what you're doing in that moment. The next is for those that are married or have boyfriends or girlfriends as significant others, I think you need to make date nights a priority. And don't get me wrong, I'll tell you this. My wife and I could do it a lot more often. We used to be much better at it. But the power of just going out to dinner or going to get a drink and then going out to dinner with just your spouse to reconnect, or to at least have conversation where your kids aren't interrupting you, or to have conversation where there's not 100 things going on around you. If like I say to my wife, Kristen, if our kids are our priority, but your spouse needs to be the priority before your kids. Because what good is it to your kids if your relationship, your marriage, and all that, if it's falling apart, it's no good to them. So you guys need to put each other first. And my wife and I say we want to do more daily walks together. We want to go out to, more date nights. I just think it's important to date your spouse because it's so easy to end up living a parallel life because you're both running in 1,000 different directions with all the activities that our kids are involved in these days. And the next thing you know, you have a roommate. You don't have somebody that you're a lover, that you're your husband or wife, right? You don't want to end up becoming roommates that pass each other like two ships in the night. Now, again, there will be seasons for that, right? Work-life balance. There will be weekends that maybe you're running around to 100 sport activities. That's fine. That's okay. But maybe 9 o'clock that night, when things wind down, maybe sit down, have a drink with your spouse, sit down, hang, have some conversation. I don't know, go for a walk. You need to make sure you set time aside for your spouse or significant other. Okay. The next thing I want to say to you guys, last point, and then I have a bonus I want to share with you guys, is I really think you need to, and I do this, turn your notifications off before you go to bed. Turn them off. Turn the banners off. Turn the alerts off. It does you no good to wake up in the morning, and when you go to your phone, which is what 99.9% of us do, as soon as we wake up and you see the Facebook notifications and the Instagram notifications or the Snapchat notifications or the email notifications, and the next thing you know, you're clicking on those banners or that little number next to Facebook with all the notifications, and your day gets away from you, and you immediately, let me tell you this, your phone, those notifications is somebody else's agenda. Your inbox is somebody else's agenda. Your notifications and banners is somebody else's agenda. So for me, I'll tell you, my notifications are permanently off. I basically get nothing. I get calendar notifications so I don't miss appointments, right, with business. but I don't get Facebook notifications. I don't get Instagram notifications. Is it annoying that it constantly is reminding me? So you get notified when such and such happens. Make sure you go to settings. No, thank you. It's always off. Always off. Mail too. Notifications are off. So if I need, when it comes time to check my mail, I go in and I'm being where my feet are and I'm handling my email. I don't like to get lost and waste time. And I think it's super important that people feel stressed out with their work-life balance, because as soon as they get up, they're immediately in responsive mode. You're immediately in responding to other people's agendas, and that's just not going to work for you. And guys, my last point is this, and I want you to remember this. Your work, your career, your job, you can be easily replaced. We all can be easily replaced. That one more email, that one more hour of work that you do, that in turn you're missing that time with the family, you're missing your kid's sporting event, you're missing some activity. At the end of the day, you're eventually going to leave work and you will be replaced. But what you can't replace is your family and the friendship and the bond you have with your kids and your spouse and significant other. You know, I remember when I retired from the state police as a captain, and I built so many great relationships with so many chiefs of the smaller local police departments in the area. And I remember saying, my goodness, like, once I leave, like, what's going to happen? Like, I spent years building up the relationships. We had great working relationship, like all the things. And can I tell you, and not that I didn't know this was going to happen, but it's just a reality. Like, you think can't be replaced. Within a week, they had another captain that was an acting captain that took over my job in a week and was running the county for the state police operations that I did. You will be replaced. But if you spend so much time working, doing all those things, eventually when you do leave your job or you retire, you're going to go home and the family's not going to know who you are. So for me, it's always been a priority to get to my kids' soccer games or my daughter's ice hockey games, or when I was coaching my daughter softball games. And I'll tell you, my daughters are older now, 19, 16. My youngest is going to be 13. And I look back, and luckily I don't have regrets because I coach my daughter's softball. I'm still actively involved with my daughter's ice hockey team. I do things when I'm traveling for speaking. I'm on the airplane. I'm the manager / one of the coaches helping out for the team, and I want to do that to be involved in my daughter. And my other daughter, my younger daughter, was in dance. I can't help in dance, but making the dance recitals. And now she played soccer in her middle school, and I make sure I get to those games. So that's important to me, because your job and career you can replace that. You can't replace your family. So just remember that. Your extra email, that extra hour of work, it can wait. Or maybe you could do it, get home, see your kids' activity, and do it right before you go to bed. But make sure you put family first at the end of the day. Put your family first. It is the most important thing that you have that will be there with you the rest of your life. Next week, I'm going away on vacation with my family, and we go away to this beach. We go away to, it's Cape May in New Jersey. We absolutely love it. I love it because I love to put my phone down. I love to unplug, and I tell my wife and my daughters, I just love being with us together, because we're always going in many different directions, right? But this vacation is time for us to get together as a family, to hang with each other on the beach, to have dinners out, to eat breakfast together, to do walks, to do amazing things, because family is the most important thing. So guys, I hope this episode helped you think a little bit about work-life balance. Don't beat yourself up. If you're struggling with it right now, today is a new day. As I'm going to say all the time now with my new philosophy and my next book, you're one decision away right now, today, from implementing some of the things I just shared with you. That's it. Yesterday's in the past. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. It's what you do with today that matters. So make the one decision today to work on your work-life balance, to take some of the things I share with you, and to take action on them. So other than that, guys, have a great week. Please share this episode with anybody you think that can benefit from it, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Personal Perseverance Project. My goal every single day is to help people live up to their fullest potential. So please share this episode, subscribe to my channel, and maybe even leave a review. Be sure to connect and follow me on all my social media channels. And if you would like more information about me potentially being a keynote speaker at your event, or maybe you want to work with me one-on-one as your private coach, be sure to go to my website at davidakinsspeaks.com for more information. Thank you.